This is our fourth attempt on Kel'Thuzad. I messed up with my recording and didn't get any of the audio, so I'm going to be recording over while I watch this video back. Phase 1 begins when we come in the middle of the circle here, and we don't actually fight the boss until later. For now, Phase 1 is mostly on the range. We have the little skeletons. The range have to kill those more or less. If they come in contact with a raid member, I believe they explode and do nature damage to everyone in the raid. It hasn't happened to us yet, so I'm not actually sure. The Abominations, and one should be coming at us shortly. There he is. These are pretty much all melee are going to kill. They don't hit that hard. They're pretty easy to kill, especially with world buffs. We have done the phase 1 of this without world buffs before, and we were able to get through it. It was definitely more difficult, but it is possible. But with world buffs, phase 1 is a lot easier. So melee kill the big abominations, and we don't really want our range attacking those at all. Range have enough work killing the skeletons, and you can see the skull mob there. The wraiths, I'm not actually sure what the mob is called. Those have to be killed by range as well. Something bad happens if they get close to people. I don't actually know what. I wish I could tell you. And you see on the right side of the screen there under my mini-map, phase 2 I think is like 4 minutes long. You end up killing pretty much all the stuff in these alcoves on the side of the room. I mean, the Abominations, 90k health. They don't actually hit that hard. You totally can pull threat on them. I mean, I wouldn't advise it. It's better to have a tank tanking them. But you're not going to get, like, 2-shot by them. This is a fight that hunters are actually... I mean, phase 1 hunters are pretty good. Just do not... Make sure your hunters don't multi-shot. That's all I'll say. If they multi-shot something and it's too close to the alcove, they could pull like half the alcove. Which has happened to us. Like if they multi-shot right there, you could pull like 5 skeletons or a couple of abominations. It's not the end of the world. On one of our first pulls, we left totems near the start of the room, and that becomes an alcove where there's a bunch of abominations. And, Warchief's Blessing's going out. And it pulled the 3 abominations at the start of the fight. But we killed them. It wasn't that bad. These mobs in phase 1 are not that bad. You just have... The only dangerous part is killing the skeletons and wraiths before they get to the middle. Melee can help out with dynamite. I'm sure there's some other way melees can do, warriors and rogues can do range damage. You shouldn't really need it, though. I mean, we have 4 mages, 3 warlocks, and 2 hunters. And that's it for range damage. And we're doing all right. I would expect most groups to not have the 5th melee group that we have today. We normally only have 4 melee groups. We just had a lot of melee on tonight for whatever reason. So phase 1 will be ending soon, and I don't know if it's my version of DBM, but that timer is off. Because it'll say that Kel'Thuzad's about to activate, but it takes like an extra like 10-15 seconds for him to actually do something. And you can see the mobs do start coming faster towards the end of the phase here. It's not really a problem for melee, since all we're killing are the abominations, and they never come that fast that you shouldn't be able to blast them down. But it does get sketchy for the range, even with world buffs. And like I said before, we have a pretty low number of ranged. I would expect most raids to have like a couple more mages, maybe one more warlock than us. But there will be those wraith things up, like when the transition phase happens. And just stay away from them, let your range kill them. That's what I did anyway. And the alcoves are almost empty now. I think we go... See, the Kel'Thuzad phase should already be starting, but he's still just standing there channeling. Okay, he just became active. Our main tank goes to pick him up. And there's still, like, what, 3 of those Soul Weavers. That's what they're called. Now, melee have to split up into 4 groups, really 3 groups, and the tank group, RIP. One of our tanks just died to that red thing. Can't remember what that's called. It's basically unsurvivable shadow damage. You have to move out of it. Looks like he was slowed. This is the mind control. And mind control is the highest threat target. And 4 other people? I take a 6,700 crushing blow from the boss. And looking back on it, a 2,800 fire blast from Esteline here, who is mind controlled. And nobody crowd controlled. Oh, it was 2,400. Kel'Thuzad crushing me. I might have survived if that hadn't been a crushing blow. If I had reacted faster, gone defensive stance, put a shield on, I might have survived there. But being a world buffed kill attempt, we want to use all the battle reses we can. I usually pump pretty decent, so we battle res Leecher Boy. And of course, I try to pop more consumables. At least the ones that I can pop in combat. So we're spread into groups so that the ice blast, whatever it's called, it hits a target and everyone within 10 yards, so it won't hit all the melee at once. I get mind controlled. So as you just saw, the boss has a... That's his single target frostbolt that should have been interrupted. He has an AoE frostbolt, uninterruptible. I think it does about 3,000 damage. You're just going to have to heal through that. That's the AoE frostbolt. He has a single target frostbolt that hits for like 9,000 on his main threat target that has to be interrupted. There it is. Somebody interrupted it. So we have 4 different groups of people kicking, and they're spread out into the 3 positions. That way, if one melee position gets frost blasted and can't... That's the frost blast. I only hit 2 people because it's range, though. So that's ideal. RIP, one of them just died. We have our kicks spread out, though, between the 3 different melee DPS groups. That way, if one of the groups gets frozen, there'll still be a bunch of other people on the rotation to interrupt that one, because it's really bad if it hits a tank. I mean, our tanks world buff have like 11k health, but there's no need for them to get hit by a 9,000 damage frostbolt. And really, the last phase here, which we just went into, the Anubisath boys spawn. 5 of them spawn. You can only shackle 3. The other 2, our tanks were saying, do not hit that hard. We have a bear tank tanking that one. This fight gets very chaotic at the end. And we're kind of just brute forcing our way through the mechanics a bit. This is only our 4th attempt on this fight. I mean, it took us... We got Sapphiron down on our 20th attempt and 4 Horsemen down on our 18th. And those were our 2 hardest fights so far. But if you look now, I'm pretty sure between Onks and Battle Reses, like 6 people have died and came back already. And we have another, what, like 8 dead right now? And we have pretty much full world buffs coming into this. I died earlier. Thankfully, I got a battle res, so I could do more damage. We're close now. Died again. I pulled threat, just blasting. I figured it was worth it to just die for the damage. And we killed him. We beat the hardest boss of the game. We just beat Classic WoW. Very exciting. The loot was a Gressel, a Hammer of the Twisting Nether, two of the best drops that this boss can drop. And this is fun, 2 Hunter Rings.